Jeff Koinange Live in association with the Safaricom Jazz Lounge.
And welcome back to Jeff Koinange Live at the Villa Rosa Kempinski on this unpredictable Wednesday. Boniface Mwangi was on the show until got turned to South Member Parliament. Moses Kuria just walked in. Boniface got up, walked out. Well, it's live TV after all. Award Benjamin tweets coming in thick and fast. We'll talk about the state of corruption. And Award Benjamin, he say on JKL, Boniface Mwangi just pulled a Moses Kuria. What a move, what a man. And then Baba Yao says, I thought that Boniface was one of the voice for the weak, but this man just walked out of the hot bench. Is he a coward? Frederick Okanga says, is Team Courage himself. Look at what he just did. Kuria alone on that big stage. Wow. Quatch, best move ever. Kuria is not worthy of his time. Moses Kuria, what do you think of that move? That was kind of strange.
You know this guy is just vaporware. You know, do not say about me when I'm not there what you can't say when I'm there. And you know, I was just passing by and I saw you and Bonnie.
Yeah.
I think you are both good friends of mine.
Yes. And I wanted to say hello.
Interesting conversation.
Yes.
In fact, I was coming for 5 minutes. Then he gives me a whole, I don't know how long I have. Thank you, Bonnie.
He's giving you free airtime.
Oh, yeah, free airtime. Because
you know,
I was coming, but you know, he said some few things. And you know, the biggest problem with these guys like Bonnie, it is what one guy called Baldwin described as exercising the prerogative of the harrods, the exercise of power without responsibility. That you can say anything about, and everything about anyone and everyone, and without, you know, taking responsibility or being challenged to it.
Yes.
You know, granted, we are not saying everything in this country is perfect. There's some things that are going right, there's some things that are not going right. The things that are not going right, even for us who are in Jubilee, they are organizing for us.
And you do say, you do speak out, don't you?
We speak out.
You're allowed to speak out.
We are allowed to speak out. But when you have a guy here, for him, everything that he says about this government is legit. And about hating government. You know, it's about a caliber and a cadre of people who believe it's right to fight government. By the way, did you know that Bonnie was a street boy?
Yes.
Do you know who saved him from the streets? It is Joseph Kagudi, then
former
PC
PC
of Nairobi,
yeah,
when he was government official. Bonnie Mwangi's own father works at the Treasury.
That's right, he's a retired civil servant, isn't he?
Yes, he's a civil servant. So here is a guy who was saved from the streets by government. Here is a guy whose father works for government. Here is a guy, when Kagudi saved him from the streets, he went to start a media group. And he was a photographer. And you know why he was fired? He posted nude photos into the photography system of Standard Media Group. Go and check the records. Check it from HR. That is moral corruption. But we are not condemning him. We understand him. We would want to help him to get out of his moral corruption.
Yeah.
So be careful, you know, when you point one finger at someone, 4 fingers are pointing at you. You know, I really wanted to be here for Bonnie to tell us why he was posting nude photos into the Standard Media, whatever.
But at the end of the day, Mheshimiwa, walking out on an interview, and you've walked out before. You walked out on my friend Hussein Mohammed.
Yes.
But you came back another time.
Yes, I came back another time because my disagreement with Hussein was on the basis of things we had pre-agreed about before. It was not about if I had met Jeff Koinange on that particular set.
Right.
I would have sat there and put my viewpoints. By the way, and I think you're my witness. You've invited me on your show before.
Yes.
I never ask you, am I coming with?
No.
I'm the only person who asks, who is the other guy on the set? I never care.
Correct.
Because I say, look, am I sure what I'm saying? Am I convinced about what I'm saying? Then let me face whoever is on their side.
Let's come back to the state of corruption, Mheshimiwa, real quick. You were saying NYS scandal. So it started off at 791 million, now it's 1.67 billion. It could be even more.
Yeah.
Kabura testifies the other day she was withdrawing 100 million shillings at a time, cash money, walking out, bags of money.
That's craziness.
In this country?
It's craziness.
How do we allow that? Why wasn't she arrested? You're a member of parliament, you're not in PAC, but you're an MP. Why wasn't she arrested when she left parliament, if anything, for not paying taxes?
Because unfortunately we have got the rule of law. Unfortunately we have got the rule of law. And Kabula is in court. Don't forget Kabula is in court. She's not just walking in out there.
But she's in
She
court,
was
but
arrested.
she's on bail, or she's not in remand.
You know, I wanted to do law, but my mother refused.
Me too.
You wanted to do law?
No, my
But
mother
what
wanted me to do law.
Yeah, I wanted to do law. My mother refused. So maybe if my mother never refused,
You'd have been a lawyer.
I've been a lawyer, maybe a judge, and I would have answered your question of why people are out on bail.
But in her case, why wasn't she arrested? Honestly, tell me. I don't. For a layman,
You know, the problem, Jeff, is that we keep on talking about the rule of law. But it has got its own consequences, just like democracy. It has got its own implications. Otherwise, we should have been a jungle republic out there. By the way, where I feel, you know what I would have done tonight? I would just have arrested Boniface Mwangi for walking out. But there's rule of law, unfortunately, in this country. Yeah?
Yes.
You know, things you don't like, you have to live with them.
but what do you think when you see that as a member of parliament, as a legislator, when you see Kabura saying she withdrew 100 meter cash?
Well, first of all, there's nothing wrong with withdrawing 100 meter. You know, there's nothing wrong.
Okay.
What there is, I'm a banker, my friend. So what there is, there's processes. Even you tomorrow, you can withdraw 100 million. The issue is, are there due processes? Have you met all the requirements for withdrawing 100 million? If you have met those requirements, you can withdraw 200
Which
million.
she hadn't. Let's face it. She set up 20 companies. A former hairdresser, by the way. A few years ago, she was a hairdresser. She sets up 20 companies. She's given tenders on a Sunday.
Okay, let's segregate between issues, because that's what we need to do in this country. If the fight against corruption is to succeed, we need to segregate issues. Let me just go to what you have just said. One, withdrawing 100 million. I think you'll agree with me, there's nothing wrong.
Fine,
as you
fine,
follow the process.
okay.
Two, forming many companies. There's nothing wrong. Actually, that's what we need in this company. I want every young man and woman out there to form a company and to do business, because what is going to drive this economy is small businesses. It's not a big, mega business.
You're losing the point here, my friend. You're losing the point.
I'm just
The
segregating.
company she was given to form, she was handed to.
Okay,
They were
fine.
handed to her.
No, look, even if I hand over to you a company to form, unless I can prove that those companies are intended for fraudulent reasons, and I actually prove that that fraud did happen, then there's nothing wrong. What I'm trying to say, Jeff, with all humility, is that until we are able to segregate between the issues, what is right, what is wrong, what is lawful, what is unlawful, what is constitutional, what is unconstitutional, then this whole fight against corruption will just be a mirage. So if he formed companies on Sunday, prove to me that forming companies on Sunday was wrong. But if he got a tender that she was not qualified for, that's number one. Or if she got a tender to supply something she didn't supply, then that's wrong. So what we need to have in this country is diligence, to be able to go through the issues and ask ourselves, is what you're saying might be unpleasant, but is it unlawful? Until we have got that sort of dichotomization of issues between what is legit, not legit, lawful, unlawful, constitutional, unconstitutional, then this whole fight on corruption will just be a mirage.
Will Kafura walk then? Is that what you're telling me?
I don't know. It's up to prosecutor and judges. It's a rule of law. Unfortunately, her guilt or otherwise cannot be determined on the bench. The bench is a wonderful place, but it's not a court of law.
I agree with that. But it pisses off many Kenyans.
Including myself, because I cannot... You know, I was telling my good friend yesterday, the Attorney General.
Yes.
The only person who won yesterday is Attorney General. How do you register so many companies in a day? That is nothing but efficiency.
Yeah.
That's what we need in this country. When you talk about ease of doing business,
Yes.
we saw we are now number 3 most improved country in the world.
Correct.
It's because the likes of Kabula in this world can be able to register as many companies as possible.
She's not registering. She's being given these by her people who are protecting her now. Is that the case?
Fine. All I'm saying is Kabula might have been doing it for fraudulent reason. I've got very strong reason to believe that she was doing it for fraudulent reason. There might have been another Onyango out there who registered so many companies in a day for doing legitimate, lawful, right business. All I'm saying is that you cannot be able to judge it on the basis that she was given.
Okay.
Now, you know, so the issue is, because we are a country of laws, we are a country that respects, you know, due processes, you have to go much further than what appears out there. Unfortunately for most of us, politicians, commentators, and the media, we just judge it on the basis of what we see out there, but it takes much, much, much more.
Are you frustrated as a legislator, as an MP? Are you frustrated when you see the headlines?
I'm frustrated as a Kenyan, first of all. Forget about as a legislator. I was not a legislator 3 years ago. Yeah, I was like you.
Yes.
So as a Kenyan, first of all, I'm frustrated about those headlines. But then I ask myself, because when you see the whole thing so muddled up between truth and fiction, half-truths, things that were not there and things which are there, then, I ask myself, because there are people out there, bad people, just like there are good people, trying to do bad things and trying to be corrupt. When that corruption does actually happen, where are we going to draw the line? Because the minute you start saying there's corruption when there's none, it is as bad as saying there's no corruption when there's corruption. It is just two wrongs which don't make a right.
Tell me something. Coming back to the health ministry scam, you're saying there is no scam there?
I have gone through all the issues.
There is no scam?
There is no scam at all. Do you have a Bible here? Bible.
A Bible? We can get one.
Yeah, I want to say.
So the story that ran in Business Daily,
It's wrong.
that
it's
people
wrong.
went out and bought out that newspaper
about the
that
whole
day.
reporting, about the whole thing of reporting.
Yeah.
And I've seen Joe Moshero, our CS for ICT,
Yes.
has written to the Nation Media Group. I'm a member of the ICT committee in the National Assembly that oversights media. And I'm going to course to appear before my committee of ICT, Nation Media Group and Business Daily. Wait for that day.
You're going to call them?
I'm going to call them.
Why?
Because I want to ask you, because most Kenyans depend on media to make their decisions, because media is such a powerful constituency, because my work as a member of parliament and legislature and a member of the ICT committee is to grow and nurture and promote the freedom of media. And because I know that that freedom comes with a sense of responsibility, then it is within my province to want to know that if we continue doing what Nation Media Group did, are we promoting media freedom, or are we making it a situation whereby my grandmother in the village is not going to trust media anymore?
Are you saying that that story was false?
It was false, and it was, the basic rules of media. I'm not a media person, I'm just an accountant. The basic rules of media is get the other side of the story. If someone had just bothered to get the other side of the story, it could have, come across.
So why was P.S. Muragori being so arrogant with the journalist, threatening the journalist? Why?
Well, arrogance can take you to hell, but not to jail.
Good point. Good point. By the way, P.S. Muragori did apologize later on.
Yeah, because at worst he would have gone to hell, not to jail. It's not a criminal offense to be arrogant.
Okay. But the stories, why did someone go out and buy every newspaper that morning? What was the reason for that?
Well, I cannot tell why people wrote that. I can only ask myself. If I say Jeff Koinange is a bad man in the heading of a newspaper, then that's something. Because a lot of people, even by the time you come back to apologize, a lot of damage has been done.
That's true.
A lot of people has believed that Jeff Koinange is a bad guy. And come on, we are all Kenyans and we live under the sun. Do not do unto someone what you don't want someone to do unto you. When you go out there and damage people's reputations, and you damage people's livelihoods and people's characters that they have built over 30 years, over 40 years, people with families, people with children, and you expect that you are going to be okay if nothing else, even if we don't take you to the media council, even if you don't summon you to parliament like I'm going to summon Nation Media Group to parliament, then your conscience will disturb you. Yeah.
And this story, will it go away? Because the CS, Mailu, he says he's going to get an independent audit.
I really want him to get 4 auditors, independent, and not just Mailu. Anybody can even just get seized of that matter and do their own investigation. But can I tell you something? Among the issues in that report, audit report, I'm saying this because I have the privilege, because I cannot come and speak here on national television unless I'm convinced. After NYS, that will never happen again, unless I'm convinced of the issues that are in there. The first issue on that report is saying, why did Parliament appropriate to Ministry of Health 518 million shillings? Now, that's a very good question. But who is being asked? Who should answer that question? It is Parliament. Because Parliament could have refused to appropriate. So why go and ask the executive of a decision that was passed by Parliament? And Parliament does this one through what we call departmental committees. The Departmental Committee of Health sits with the ministry, agrees on the priorities, agrees we do not have enough money from the budget, we need to have supplementary budget. And then that goes to another committee called BAC, Budget and Appropriations Committee, where I sit. And I remember this item coming to me. I was there in that committee. I was part of the team.
And you approved it?
And we approved it. I approved it. I actually defended it. There were some members who were not okay with it, but we convinced ourselves, all of us, and this is a bipartisan committee. It's not a Jubilee committee. This is a Jubilee committee, Code committee, Wiper committee. We have got all these members there.
Okay, real quick before we go to break. And these containers that were supposed to have been imported were imported for an incredible amount of money, and it could have been done locally. How does that pan out?
Look, you see, first of all, if it's about these containers, my question is, did you follow the due processes of public procurement? That's number one. Did you follow the right processes for public procurement? And by the way, when these containers were procured, ministry goes and puts a tender in the newspaper. People respond. And even in public interest, if by that time somebody said, oh, wait a minute, this tender should not go on, just go to the court. And if you feel someone did not win it fairly, there's public procurement window. Go and appeal. Nothing happened. Only for you to come back later and condemn innocent people.
And you said, in case someone's just joining us now, you said if there is misappropriation, if some money is missing from the health ministry, you, Moses Kuria, will
be a by-election in Gator South.
You resign.
Yes.
You said it on this show.
Yes.
You heard it first, right here, from Gatundu South Member of Parliament, Moses Kuria. He said he will resign if there is any misappropriation, if there's any stealing, if there's any scam at the health ministry. Because you're an accountant who worked in the Middle East for many years.
Yes, and here locally, for banks and international companies of repute.
Correct.
Yes.
And you speak fluent Arabic.
Among other things.
Wow. Keep tweeting at Honorable
Moses
_Kuria. At Honorable Moses _Kuria. At Koinange Jeff. The hashtag State of Corruption. And Jeff Koinange live at the Villa Rosa Kempinski takes a break.
Bonnie exposed.
Or walk out.
Bonnie walk out.
We'll be back in a moment.
You're watching Jeff Koinange live in association with the Safaricom Jazz Lounge.
From the county of Nyeri, I am Carol